All right. Hopefully everybody had a good afternoon. Let's go ahead and get after it. Let's start off with the market overview. Okay, taking a look at IWM. Wow, unbelievable. So we have broken underneath the 155 EMA, and there's key support here at 210. So we'll see if price slows down around like 209, 210. But right now, it looks like we could have some more downside to come. So if you're still holding the September 17, 235 calls, you should definitely cut those if you haven't already. All right. All right, let's take a look at SPY. I still think that SPY is going to roll over some more. I know what I've been saying previously is that if you look back at the past 3 months, price kind of bottoms either on the 18th or the 19th of the month. And that's what, we've seen. And I think the biggest difference, though, is that what's up, Jerome? I think the biggest difference is that the Fed is talking about tapering, which basically means that they're talking about reducing the amount of money that they pump into the markets. So with that being said, we got to continue to remain cautious. We could still bounce and, push higher tomorrow, but with so many of the big names really being under pressure and really looking as if they're about to sell off, I'm just kind of having a hard time believing that the market is about to push up so much higher right now. So I think the market probably needs to reset, cool off a little bit more, and then it'll probably be ready to go ahead and push higher. But right now, I'm just not seeing it. All right, so I'm looking at all three of the major indices, IWM, SPY, QQQ, and I am not seeing it here. So if anything, I'm expecting more downside. So if you wanted to potentially try some QQQ 362 puts for next week, I'd probably be more comfortable with, even though they may hit tomorrow. But if you wanted to try 362 QQQ puts for next week, that's something to consider. All right, let's also take a brief look at VIX. All right, so VIX is definitely closed above the 20 mark. And now it's trying to break some important resistance that it has here around like 24 to 25. All right, I have it marked out as 24.93. So if we can get over that, then obviously the market is going to go down a bit more. We'll wait and see when this spike finally gets sold off. But right now, it still looks like it has a bit more legs to go, to be quite honest with you guys. So, let's just continue to be patient and not try to catch the bottom or the top for anything. We'll just catch the move as it develops. All right. All right. Now that we've kind of gone through the market and the indices, let's go ahead and take a look through the uptrend scanner and kind of see what's moving. See if we can find any themes here. All right. Microsoft is about the only big tech company that's holding up. Hold on here. My mouse seems to be stuck. Give me a sec. Let me scroll down a bit. All right, there we go. So that's the whole list. That's why I wasn't moving. Okay. So not really seeing much here on the uptrend scanner. So normally you can take a look at the uptrend scanner and identify trends. At this particular point, I mostly see like consumer discretionary or retail stuff. So not really seeing anything I'm interested in getting involved in. So we'll pass on that as far as the uptrend scanner today. Let's take a look at the bottom scanner, see what's trying to bottom. All right, we got Krispy Kreme, Nvidia, but that's more bearish than anything because that was at 205. And PayPal. Oh yeah, you know what? We've got to come back to PayPal. PayPal's trying to get over that 271.70 level that I talked about earlier. So this may be one we actually could take a look at for calls, depending upon how it closes. So be patient there. Let's watch that PayPal set up. All right, and let's take a look at the unusual option scanner. Actually, you know what? I looked at it earlier. I think we're good. Let's take a look at the 1 hour uptrend scanner. T-Mobile, Nvidia again. Datadog can sometimes pop. Let's take a look at that real quick. Wow, that looks pretty good. But you know what? I'm kind of scared to trade it though, just because a lot of stuff's been rolling over. So my thought process is, why wouldn't this too? So yeah, I'll pass. I won't be greedy. I'll just pass up on that. All right. All right. Let's go ahead and go through our plays for the day. Hey, yo, Sean Rice. What's good? All right. So the play, I did a video about this, but the play was to wait for Apple to bounce today. So Apple closed at 46.36 yesterday. Today, the game plan was to let Apple bounce and then sell the rips. So price got as high as, what is this, 148? So I think I was calling for shorts around like 147.50-ish. And I think those will still add up. Now, once I called them, price dropped all the way down to 146 before bouncing back to where it's at right now, 147. So if you did take that trade, it probably worked or was in profit already. Now we still have the potential to hit 145 tomorrow. I would think that it might hold off until Monday. There's a possibility of that. So if you want to trade Apple puts, consider maybe the like for short term time frame, consider 145 puts for next week. All right, those might work. Let's actually take a look and see how much those are real quick. $228. That's a bit more than what I want to pay for the moment. Oh, I'm sorry, didn't update. $1.50. Okay, that's cool. We could pay $1.50 for 145s. That'll work. So if you want to try Apple puts for next week, feel free to try the 145 puts. The 145 puts for next week for August 27th. All right. All right. Let's take a look at Nvidia. All right, Nvidia. This is one that ran right into a key level earlier today, right around 205.05. All right, that's 205.05. So we bumped right into that key level and price got rejected. And you would expect for this to happen too, because earnings was like really bad compared to the last 2 quarters. So the last 2 quarters, they returned over $3 a share, and earnings yesterday only $1. So that's not great, right? That's not cause for inspiration for price to just, shoot up crazy when, they had an underperforming quarter. So I would definitely be selling rips in Nvidia as well. And that's why we kind of stepped in earlier today around 205. So if you took this one, we mentioned it around like 204 and change. And if you took it, then you're up about 5 points. And at one point, this was down to 195. So you were up about 9 to 10 points. So definitely a good opportunity there. You can wait for it to break down a little bit more. You can wait for it to get back under 194 before taking any more puts on this. But it's definitely one that's setting up. All right, let's take a look at AMD. I just mentioned AMD in the chat not long ago. Let me go ahead and zoom in real quick. All right, so right now price is resting at 103. All right, this is obviously a previous support level, still holding. And what we want to do is we want to see price get below 103 so that we can make our way down to 100, if not 97 and a quarter. All right, but definitely the 100 puts for next week. That makes sense, especially if the market continues to be under pressure. No reason for this to stop right here at 103 when it could come down to the key level of 100 and bounce off of that. So definitely thinking there's a few points to be made trading AMD down to the 100 level. So if you want to consider that, take a look at 100 puts for next week. All right, let's take a look at Planeteer. We called some Planeteer calls a couple days ago. We basically have no movement today. Yesterday was a beautiful day. We were showing basically that, bulls are still in control of the chart. So as long as we continue to see signs like this, I think this trade is still in play. Right now, we're just kind of going sideways. Let's see if we can't get over 25.42 either tomorrow or Monday. And if so, then I think we'll definitely make our way up towards this key level here at 2740. We just got to give it a little bit more time. All right, let's take a look at NEO. All right, so NEO gave us a nasty pump fake yesterday. So we were short NEO 2 days ago, and our game plan was we were short NEO this day here on, what is this? Let me see what this day is. August the 17th. All right, so our game plan was if price broke above 38.30, then we would exit our position, which we did. Good thing that we did, because price came all the way back up to 39.50, which was resistance, before finding resistance and actually getting rejected with the gap down today. So now that we've kind of resumed the process of gapping back down, you could also look at this as like a morning star pattern, this little 3 candles right here, and looking for maybe potentially a strong push to the downside tomorrow. Targets are 34 to 32, and I think what we called was September 3rd, 35 puts, and or 37 to 35 puts. That's what we called. So September the 3rd, 37 to 35 puts for NEO, if you're taking a look at that. And we called an extra week out because sometimes this one can move a little slow. All right, AMC. We hopped into AMC calls yesterday when price was above the key level of 37. We got knocked down a little bit today. But to be honest, we're still pretty much moving sideways. I want to give it another day or two before I start, cutting it, because we got September 17th. So let's continue to just be a little patient here. The bands are tightening, and let's see if we can't get back over 37 to make that push up towards 40, 42, 43. All right. All right, let's take a look at Hood. I'm actually going to make a video on Hood. My second video is going to be on Hood today. And what I'm basically seeing is that price is trapped between 40 and 51. We came up to 51 yesterday. We reported earnings, or rather Hood reported earnings. And now I'm just looking for price to fall back down towards this level of 40 and a quarter. So a real simple support and resistance trade here. And because this chart is so new, there are no Bollinger Bands on it yet. So we're just using basic support and resistance to trade it. All right, so next level to watch is for this to fall down to 40 and a quarter. And that'll probably be the strike that I call for September the 3rd. All right. Now, Tesla. I did mention Tesla puts for the 640 strike. Let's take a look back at those again. I called them earlier around 678, 677. So they're only just a couple of points in the right direction. But this is what I'm basically seeing. We had a huge move down from Tesla. So we came up from like around 730. We dropped all the way down to around like 650. So that's like an 80-point move. Well, what happened after that was that price pushed into the lower Bollinger Band and got, and bounced, right? So this is more or less just profit taking. So these traders here who made money off of the down move, they went ahead and took profits down here, causing price to bounce. Now, price bounced right up to the key level of 695 and was rejected hard off of that. Now, 695 is definitely a key level. If price were to close above that, then we'd have to flip our bias and, start to look bullish. But for right now, we're looking at the 695, 689 levels as like resistance. So price bumped up into those levels, got pushed down. Now we're looking for price to potentially lose support at 675 and then fall down to these levels below. So that's 672, 657, and then potentially down here at the 155 EMA around here at 642. So the thought process was that if tomorrow is like a bearish day, then these Tesla 640 puts for tomorrow could potentially stack up. And yeah, Marty's right. Please don't forget to like the video. Your boy needs all that support. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at these 640s. Oh, wee. All right. Actually, you know what? I think when I pointed out these 640s earlier, I think they were like 60 something cent. Matter of fact, so these are up from when I mentioned them earlier today. So, which was probably about a couple hours ago. So anyway, take a look at the 640 puts on Tesla, and maybe it kind of falls in your favor tomorrow. All right, probably the most I'll be able to risk here is maybe the 650s, $1.72. Try that. And if things, gapped in my favor, I'll be looking to kind of run that early tomorrow. So just keep that in mind. Nikola, we called September 17. I believe it was 12 calls. I'll take a look at this one tomorrow. I'll look at it tomorrow. It's no big deal right now. The contracts were cheap, and it's not really a main focus. It was kind of a speculation play. Facebook. I did call Facebook puts for tomorrow, the 350s. And let me just kind of show you my thought process. So a couple things. I sent out to the chat, number one, that Zuckerberg sold 54 million worth of shares on Facebook over the last 2 days between the 17th and the 18th. So, if the CEO is selling shares, shit, we should be selling too, right? So he sold at the 360 level and the 357 level. So we're very close to 357 right now. So my thought process is that there's probably an invisible wall built up between 357 and 360 with Facebook. So as long as price continues to stay below that, I would expect for us to fall. Now, if we fall to the next support level tomorrow, that means we can hit 348.50, and our 650 puts would be up, probably pretty significantly. So that's the game plan. That's the thought process. So if you want to try it, if you haven't tried it yet, take a look at Facebook 350 puts for tomorrow. I didn't want to step out till next week because those contracts were still a bit too expensive for my taste. So just take a look at next week's for tomorrow in that case. All right. Boeing was the one. Well, actually, we missed the boat on two names today. All right. Well, let's say this week. So Boeing was definitely one that we looked at yesterday, right? We asked ourselves in the chat, we were like, hey, is this going to hold support at 221, or is this going to fall down to the next level and try to fill this gap here around 217? So at the end of the day yesterday, I mentioned 217 and a half puts. They were about 70 something cent. I already know those bitches are like $500 now. Let's just take a look real quick. And my boy Jerome is on the call. He asked me at the end of the day, he was like, hey, any end of day plays? And Jerome, if you could, I'm sure you would let me know. Like, yeah, bro, I heard you mention those Boeings, and just like I said, they're 500. All right, so you could have taken $70 and turned that into 500 overnight had you taken my advice and snatched up those Boeing 217.50s. All right, so just saying, I'm just saying. All right, let's take a look at Netflix. Now, Netflix was my bad. All right, so this morning and yesterday, we saw that Netflix was on the uptrend scanner. All right, price had closed. Yeah, right. Damn. Price had closed above the upper Bollinger Band, and so Netflix showed up on the uptrend scanner. We saw that the bands were getting tight, and we were like, okay, only thing that we need next is for price to get above 525, 60, and then we can look for price to push up towards 535 to 545. And this morning I got the alert. The alert popped off while we were on the chat, and I was like, I don't know. Market's a little bearish. We should probably pass on that. And what do you know? This thing went straight to target 2, like past target 2. We could have definitely snatched this up. Even with just this week's contract. So this one was my bad. We probably missed 1,000%er here, and that's my fault. So we had the appropriate trade plan. The trade plan was correct. It was basically a box breakout over 525. Should have taken us to 545. We hit that. We just didn't pull the trigger. So it's just an opportunity that we missed, and we just got to learn from. So it is what it is. All right. It would be nice if somebody was like, I took it, but I guess not today. All right. With PayPal, I'm a little reluctant to just go ahead and be like, hey, let's take this bottoming play right here on PayPal. So a bottom play is when price trades below the lower band and then closes back above the lower band like we have right here. So below the red line, then back above the red line. But what's kind of in the way is this 271.72 level. And above that is this 277. So I'm gonna just be a little bit more patient. I do feel like this is trying to bottom, but maybe let me give it another day or maybe a couple more days just to make sure this doesn't want to pull down to 262 first before actually making that move back higher. But I am watching it though, because the 300 contracts for this for September 17 are only $1. And it's just like, man, I know if we can catch this from a bottom play, that'll be 1,000% move. So I'm just trying to like this right here, right? Come down to the lower band and then shoo, right up to the upper band. So I'm looking for that type of action, that type of move on this. But, we got to time it right. So let's just be a little patient. But I got my eyes on it. What's the next big trigger for Netflix? Let me take a look at that, Jerome. Let me take a look at that. One sec. eBay. We called eBay when price was here on 8/16 on August the 16th. We called this when price was around like 74 and change, I think, maybe 75. We since pulled back, and we just wanted to see price continue to hold very near like the 73.50 level. And as long as we could do that, I think we're pretty good to potentially push higher. But, for the moment, price is stuck. Now, if we get below the low of today's candle, then we probably want to go ahead and cut it. But for the most part, it's holding on by a thread right now. All right. Let me cover Beyond real quick, Jerome, and then we'll go ahead and go back to Netflix, bro. All right. So Beyond, we've been talking about this one for what seems like about 2 weeks. Sam Hunter brought this to our attention when price was around the key level of 126 here. Ever since we broke underneath 126, we've been falling ever since. Yesterday was actually kind of it was a tough day because price pulled back to the 120 to resistance level and then got rejected. So yesterday was probably the best day to buy those puts. And today, obviously, they paid off. So I remember mentioning to the chat, we would be looking at 115 puts to 110s. Hopefully price falls down to 110 tomorrow or some day early next week. But we were in, because I bought them myself. I had 110 puts for this week, and I think they cost me like 31 cents when I bought them. Let's take a look and see what they're at right now. The 110s are 27 cents. So real close to what I actually paid for a couple of days ago. So if you want to try those again, as a more of a riskier play, but like a less expensive play, feel free to give the Beyond 110 puts for tomorrow, a go. But, just know it's only one day for that to work, and that might be a bit more risky. All right, let's take a look at Netflix. And actually, since Netflix moved, let me also take a look at Roku while I'm at it. Jerome, we got a key level at 556. All right, so at 556, there's a key level here. The last time actually, not even the last time. This is the level that's been capping the market, really, if you look at it. So even going as far back as like March right here, you can see price come up to that level, this 556 level, boom, get rejected off. Came back up to it again here, right behind this alert, boom, huge gap down off of that level, stupid gap down, right? Then price kind of, found support, pushed back higher, came right back up to that level, boom, pushed down again. So what we need to see is for price to, I would say, number one, if you want to get in early, wait for price to get in above 548.73. So if price can get above 548.73 like this week or next week, then maybe start taking a look at like 565s, because you would imagine if price were to break this key level, that should create an equally large reaction to the upside, right? So being that we've gotten smacked down off of this level so many times already, if we finally break it, price is gonna go crazy, right? So I would be looking at scaling in early if price were to get above 548.73. And then if we kind of held this level, I would expect for price to go up towards the key level, to test it. And then if we were lucky enough to it break, then I would be thinking price is going to go to 565, if not 575. All right, so that would be my thought process on Netflix, brother. All right, let's look at Roku, like I said. Maybe Roku was trying to bottom here. I know it doesn't. I know it's like it's hard to say that just looking at this one candle, but I don't want to risk it because it's really a guess, to be perfectly honest. Let me look at Roku calls real quick just to see how cheap they are. Yeah, hell yeah. And even for calls this week, I mean, that's still, we can't play with this, right? Even like 10 points out is $100. I mean, that's not a good bet, to be honest. Now it might smack and have a silly day tomorrow for whatever reason, but I mean, it could just as easily just drag around this levels for a while too. So I probably got nothing there on Roku. We'd have to pass on that. What else you guys want to see? Let me know in the chat. Otherwise, I'm gonna go ahead and probably wrap it up early if nobody wants to see anything, because I've kind of gone through my watch list here. Let me pull up my second watch. All right, let's take a look at Pfizer. I know that's been bae for a lot of people real quick. Let's look at Pfizer. All right, so with Pfizer, we got rejected off of that 50-50 level, let's call it, like 50-42. And it pushed us right back down to the upper Bollinger Band. Now, I didn't know if the upper band was going to hold today, and I'm still actually not quite too sure here. There is a possibility that we fall back underneath 48.19, and then I'd be looking for price to come back down towards this 45 level, this 45.68. Now, remember, this 45.68 level is a 20-year resistance level for Pfizer. So it's definitely going to get retested, in my opinion, at least one time before Pfizer pushes higher. So, don't fall in love with the story. Fall in love with just, the analysis, right? If we break 48.19, look for Pfizer to definitely come back and retest this 45.68 level to make sure that price really wants to stay above this. And then if so, this is probably a pretty good area to try to buy calls is right here. All right, around this key level. All right, triple keys. All right, but it's that's what it is. It's definitely an important level for sure. Don't get it twisted. All right, let's take a look at JP Morgan. Banks are still kind of under pressure. Looks like they had a little relief bounce today, so not really much going on there. Let's take a look at a couple Bitcoin names. Let's look at Mara real quick. That doesn't look too bad. That looks like that's trying to find support there. All right, let's look at this. This one's interesting. Okay, so first thing is we have a key level here, right, at 30, let's call it 32, right, 31.85. So that's a key level. Price broke above it, came below it, and now it's immediately trying to get back above it. So that's good. I see my boy Sam Hunter saying that Bitcoin is pumping. That makes sense. All right. I would probably be missing out on a gap up here, but that's fine. Let me let Mara show me just a little bit more with some more bullish price action on Friday for us to potentially step back into this, because I could see Bitcoin starting to move. Now I want to take a look at Riot and BT and Coin. So give me a second. Let's go through the Bitcoin names. Let's go through all of them. Let's chop it up. All right. Riot. Now we could be getting a discount here off Riot because it is back down to the 155 EMA, and also is chilling right here at the lower Bollinger Band. So just like Tesla, remember Tesla came down to the lower Bollinger Band and then it poked it and then bounced. All right. That's what we could potentially be seeing here in Riot. So, I wouldn't be surprised to see it bounce tomorrow. Not only that, but prices came down to the 155 once and bounced off of it, twice and bounced off of it, 3 times and bounced off of it. Who's to say this 4th time price doesn't just bounce back off of it again? All right. So keep that in mind that Bitcoin could be trying to carve out a bottom here. So let's look at BT. BTBT. Ooh, same kind of thing. Nice looking bull flag potentially. Let's let this shape up. Let's get a candle tomorrow that breaks above today's high before we start to step back into these names. Let's let it really set up for us. All right. No rush, because you know they could pull the rug out just as fast as they set you up. But, I can't deny that it does look well rested and like it's, there's potential for it to push higher. But, again, one day at a time. Let's take a look at coin. All right. Same kind of story, except weaker because it's underneath the 155. So all those other charts are a bit stronger because they're all trading above the 155. That could just mean that there's a discount. All right. So there's that. Give me 1 second here. Okay. All right, guys. I think I'm good. There's nothing else that I really am like thirsty to kind of get into. I was looking at Snow. I saw that their CEO actually sold some stock, or one of their high-level executives actually sold some stock this week too. So I'll probably pass on that. So anyway, so that's it. But before I wrap it up, I'll give everybody a chance just to ask if there's anything they want to see. All right, going once, going twice. All right, everybody. Hopefully everybody had a profitable day. There were a lot of good trades, and I think there's still a lot of good trades left on the table. We'll see how SPY ends up resolving. Is right back to that resistance level at that 441. And then everything else is still trying to actually push down for the most part. So I'm still not buying this dip just quite yet. Let's give it another day to let things kind of situate themselves. When do I think the market changes? It could be a couple weeks, to be honest. There's the potential for us to sell off at least another week or two, as far as the way that I see things right now. So I would just be patient before really diving in strong with calls. But when it does happen, it's going to be game time. But, things are going to have to really bottom across the board. Like Apple hasn't even really fallen all the way yet. Right. Facebook is still trying to hold on, by a thread, type of thing. So I would let these things kind of work themselves all the way out first. And then I'd be a bit more convinced that the bottom is in. And so I know for sure that's going to take longer than 1 week. So I'm going to say at least 2 weeks for things to kind of really resolve, Jerome. All right, guys. Appreciate y'all joining. Let me know in the chat if there's any questions that come up, and we'll be back here again in the morning to get them again. All right, everybody. Take care.